Welcome to TMZ Live. We knew this day was coming, and it did yesterday. Singer David has been arrested for the murder, the authorities say, the murder of Celeste Rivas, and he is now behind bars as the police are ready to present the case to the DA, and we're going to get into why that is so curious.
Very puzzling, but yes, he's being held without bail after a very dramatic arrest in the Hollywood Hills. You know, we'd been wondering for all these months, where was David? He had not been seen anywhere, but it seems for at least the last couple of months, he has been at this home in the Hollywood Hills, and the police showed up in force
Battering
yesterday.
ram, police dogs.
Canine, yeah, they had canine units. And we have this moment as the police are shouting commands to him as he is walking slowly out toward the street.
Walk through. It's gonna obscure my view from the gate.
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet going. It's gonna hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir? Open the gate.
That's David communicating to the officers. You heard them say, if you try to run, these dogs will bite you. But he came out and was arrested without incident. And now the police say that they are going to, like I said, being held without bail, and the police said they're presenting their investigative evidence, all of their files, to the DA's office
And here's the
on Monday.
And here's the problem with that. And here is the most puzzling thing that I've heard in a long, long time. The LAPD says they are going to present the case to the DA on Monday. The DA has had the case, in fact, for 5 months.
The DA has they've been presenting the case.
The DA has been before a grand jury. The Major Crimes Division, Beth Silverman, has been before the LA County grand jury for almost 5 months presenting evidence. So she's presenting the case to herself or something like that.
I mean,
but it doesn't really make sense because, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but why wouldn't the DA, if the DA is going to do it, why wouldn't the DA just charge him and then arrest him? That could have been done, but it's weird to say we're going to present it to a DA that's had the case for 5 months. We'll get into that.
Yes, we are going to get into that with someone who may understand how this is going down, how the DA and the police made the decision to arrest him this way, is Matt Murphy. He is a former prosecutor, not far from where we are. He was in Orange County, and he is joining us now. Matt, welcome to TMZ Live.
Happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. So, Matt, help me out here because I don't get it. The DA has had this case for 5 months. The LAPD arrests him, presumably the DA, since they've been presenting evidence to the grand jury for all this time. They're going to file charges. Feels cart before the horse to me. Why wouldn't they just file the charges and then pick them up? They didn't even they could file the charges without them even becoming public and picking them up. It doesn't make sense to me why they're saying we're presenting it to the DA. DA has it.
No, you're right, Harvey. This is unusual, but you know, I've heard some criticism, but I want to take a slightly different, more optimistic viewpoint on this. And there's two ways a grand jury can investigate a case. One is when a prosecutor comes in and presents evidence asking for an indictment. The other is a purely investigative function. And, you know, working the grand jury as they have, Lisa Silverman was able to take advantage of grand jury subpoenas during the investigation, which I think is a really clever sort of thinking outside the box, to use an overused cliche, approach to it. So they're very aware of all of the evidence. They would have been, she or another representative of the DA's office would have been in there when they're compelling people to testify, which is kind of awesome, for lack of a better word. It's almost never done that way. So typically the DA's office has a reactive role where the police investigate and then it winds up on somebody's desk that's had no involvement. This one's different. The LAPD really took their time on this. which I personally support. Like you never want to pull a trigger too quickly on a case like this. You want to put it all together to make sure you have the best case possible, because you want it to be able to survive appellate scrutiny and you want it to be strong enough to be able to convict. But it's procedurally unusual, but I think that obviously they know what the evidence is, and it's one of two things. Either this is simply going through the process. And Nathan Hochman, guys, the new DA of LA, is the real deal. I've been impressed with his administration since he came in. I think they've been handling this very well so far. So either this is simply they're going through the motions, and they'll file it on Monday, and he's entitled to an arraignment within, I think, Monday or Tuesday, depending on the hour that they arrested him. Or there's a big rift between the LADA and the LAPD, and the LAPD is saying, screw it, we're going to arrest him, which I really doubt under Hochman's regime. So you're right, Harvey, though, it's very interesting, but I think this thing's on its way to a filing.
So, Matt, what you're saying is that there's not going to be a long wait once the LAPD presents their evidence to the DA. The DA knows all this stuff, so there will be charges filed pretty quickly, I would think.
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to make a filing decision. They could always refuse it if there's that rift, but I don't think there is. I think they put together. It sounds to me now the grand jury's secret, so we don't know what all the evidence is yet. But I know that they compelled a bunch of people to testify. They were doing out-of-state subpoenas. That's really involved prosecutorial work. That's exactly the way cases like this should operate, where you've got the prosecutor married with the lead detective working the case together and coming up with different theories, different strategies. That's how you win big murder cases like this.
One of the things that we had heard that was a big holdup in this investigation, at least a couple of months ago, is that the medical examiner office had not been able to determine a cause of death. And
got into a dogfight with the LAPD.
Right.
We are told by a high-up LAPD source that the medical examiner said that this is a homicide, but we don't know if they determined how she died.
It seems to me like that was the big holdup here, right? Because how could you arrest David if you don't even know how Celeste died? How are you going to arrest him and say he did this if you don't even know how she died?
Yeah, that's another great question. And the answer is, I can't wait to get into those grand jury transcripts, guys, because his inner circle knew, and there's an entire story behind this. And remember, this is his car. The decomp was heavy, but this one is almost like a no-body murder in a way, because juries really don't like to give the benefit to the criminal defendant of getting rid of the body or dismembering the body to a point, or letting the body decompose to a point where it's difficult to tell the cause of death. I prosecuted personally 5 no-body murder cases, and juries are a lot more open-minded for the prosecution than people might think. So, and with somebody that's been dismembered, that's been subjected to heavy decomposition, like we've heard about so many times in this case, it can often be hard to tell, the exact cause of death. But when you got a guy who wrote a song called "Romantic Homicide," and there's a whole inner circle that didn't want to talk, there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming forward. And, she didn't chop herself up, guys.
No, I mean, it's clear. Look, here's what our recon is, based on all the sources we've talked to over the very many months. He knows something, we're told, about how that body ended up in the trunk. But my understanding is, at least, and they've said it now, that the defense is saying he did not kill Celeste Rivas. And the sense we're getting is that they may say that she wasn't killed at all, that this could well have been an overdose where people panicked. And that gets really right to the heart of cause of death, because I would assume, and you've probably seen these cases, where we know the medical examiner for months not only had a hard time, but said we may never know the cause of death. And there was a fight between LAPD and the medical examiner. All of the documentation, the correspondence, the emails, they're all going to be subpoenaed, fair game for the defense. And if there is that back and forth, we don't know, and then suddenly they know at the end, that could be a problem for prosecutors.
Sure. Every case is unique, as we know. And these ones that take a while, the involved mysteries, you got to think of it like a collage, like we've seen so many times before. The most critical evidence in this case may be one of his buddies or somebody in his inner circle that decided to come clean and tell the truth. Sometimes you build murder cases through testimony. Sometimes you build it through DNA. Sometimes it's toxicology. Sometimes it's a combination of all the above. But if she OD'd, yeah, I've had those cases, guys, where we think we got a murder, and during the autopsy, during the toxicology reports, it turns out they OD'd, sometimes accidentally, sometimes as a suicide. And you're right, Harvey, we don't know until we know, as they say, right? So we'll see what happens. But, when we get into those grand jury transcripts, I can't wait to read them. But the LAPD, we saw those clips, very dramatic, and that's done for everybody's safety, right? If they believe this is a desperate domestic violence kind of murder case, you want everybody to be safe. Those are the most dangerous arrests for the police to make, not serial killers, oftentimes not even gang members. It's crazy lovers, husbands, wives that don't want to go to jail. So a little bit of that drama, I think, was necessary for everybody's safety, including David's. And remember, guys, we've got a family out there of Celeste Rivas. And there are many Celeste Rivases in LA and in Southern California and all over the United States that don't get the media that this one has gotten because of how famous the suspect is. So hopefully this is a good day for those poor people. And she was sounds like she was a tough girl, ran away from home multiple times, but she was also only 14. And, a lot of people make mistakes when they're 14, and the mistakes she made cost her life.
Yeah.
Okay, we really appreciate it. It was great having you on.
Of course, guys, have me back anytime. Really like the show.
Coming up, Ice Spice, she went in to McDonald's here in Hollywood when this young woman walks in wanting to have some sort of engagement with Ice Spice. And you can see Ice Spice isn't really having it. And that now things are getting amped up. Be right back.
Guess who's not loving it?
I was wondering which McDonald's pun you were going to go with, but Ice Spice deserved a break, and so she went in to McDonald's here in Hollywood. This was on Wednesday morning, and she is in the hoodie there, sitting down with a friend when this young woman walks in, wanting to have some sort of engagement with Ice Spice. And you can see Ice Spice isn't really having it and says, you can just see the door. And that now things are getting amped up because why are you leaning over her that way?
Ominously.
Yeah. And what's going to happen next?
Does she know it's Ice Spice?
Yes, she definitely does. Yes.
Whoa.
That's why she went in to talk to them.
Whoa.
Now watch this. Ice Spice not letting it go. Yep.
Oh.
Nope. Table to table, baby.
This is Waffle
Let's go.
House action. It is.
Waffle House is like, hold my beer. Let me show you how this goes. So the young woman who started all of this runs out of the McDonald's, but Ice Spice notices that someone has dropped their phone. I don't know if the phone...
We don't know if it was the girl who slapped her or someone that was with her, but she does go back outside to,
Ice Spice does.
Yeah, she goes and she yells at the girl. There's some guys that try to break her up from the girl, but she's very adamant that she's gonna get this girl.
Well, wait a minute. So she goes outside.
Here's what happens
yeah.
when they go outside.
You gonna spank the bitch?
Yeah, I will beat your Wait, calm down, calm down.
Let me fight her.
Calm down.
On your mama, let me fight her.
What happened?
Let me fight a bitch. Why would you wanna fight me? Are you a bitch?
Calm down.
You wanna fight a bitch? Why would you fight me, bitch?
We get up on anything.
You 120 pounds, bitch.
You 120 pounds, and
So
then
it turns into a
and then
fight.
it keeps going. By the way, you heard Ice Spice yelling at the guy, right? You're 120 pounds?
Wow.
And there were definitely some mamas.
And in Hollywood, you say thank you. Right?
Yes.
There were definitely some mamas mentioned in there also.
Holy smokes. This is like the old days.
So we spoke to the girl
Ice Spice
involved in the fight, and she admits she slapped Ice Spice.
Well, you see it.
Yeah, I know. But before we even had that video, she was admitting it. And she also says that Ice Spice was rude to her.
Did she say why she did this?
She said that she was rude to her at McDonald's. Ice Spice lawyer talked to us and said Ice Spice has actually filed a police report with the LAPD.
Well, the woman committed a battery.
Of course, yeah.
Even if Ice Spice was a bitch to her, as she's saying,
Doesn't
can't
matter.
hit people,
you
yeah.
can't go up and hit her for it.
Plus, she's
Of
the one
course.
that walks up to Ice Spice. If Ice Spice doesn't want to talk to her,
You gotta leave.
Yeah, but she's in trouble.
It is interesting that Ice Spice could have let it go once the woman
yeah,
walked
no,
out,
no,
but she was incensed at that
She
point.
jumped on the table.
When you see her crane her neck and get in her face.
I really want to know who the guy in the white shirt is, because that's the guy who wanted to fight Ice Spice, and she's yelling, "You're gonna fight
Was
a
he
girl?"
the 120-pound guy?
Yes,
That's the
he
jab.
was,
The one
yeah.
she's like, "You're 120 pounds. I'll whoop your ass."
In his dreams.
Hi, my name is Melody. I'm from Newark, New Jersey.
Hi.
Hey,
I'm just going to jump straight in. First of all, I'd like to know why she didn't have any security. We have seen numerous celebs, it's been tragic situations because of lack of security. I don't know what it is. Maybe social media has people thinking that celebrities are their friends, where they can just walk up to people and say, "Hey, what's up? Let's take a picture." I really hope that this situation lets her know that she needs to beef up on her security. And even if she was a bitch to her, as she says, that doesn't give you the right to slap somebody.
No.
And I absolutely think that ICE needs to press all the charges that she should, because that's ridiculous.
it is interesting that she had zero security with her. I mean, that was just her friend with her. That was not
I know,
a
but
woman.
do you have 24-hour security? You go to McDonald's? I mean,
I don't know. Also,
I kinda get
I'm
it.
sure she figured, look, I'm in a hoodie. It's Wednesday morning. And
Yeah.
Wednesday night in McDonald's. Nothing's.
Come on.
It was early Wednesday morning. Again.
Well, that's the
after
Waffle
midnight.
House.
After midnight, nothing good
Why
happens.
is the Waffle House this way? Why is it that
You are speaking like someone who has not spent time in a Waffle House. That's all I'm saying.
But why?
If you had.
No, I'm actually really serious. I've always wondered this, as long as we're on it. Why is it at the Waffle House as opposed to, say, Denny's?
Because it's open 24
So
hours.
is Denny's. You never hear these fights at Denny's.
True, but Denny's has had other issues. Long ago in the past.
No.
Caitlyn Jenner has a big travel problem that has nothing to do with the price of a ticket these days, which is absurd. Her problem is her passport. And she says she cannot travel internationally because her passport says male. And this is creating a problem. This is what she told Tommy Lauren about this. And by the way, the good news for Caitlyn is she knows people in high places.
She does.
Recently, I had my passport. I had to get it renewed. I sent it back. Comes back gender marker M. Screws everything up. I don't blame President Trump. I love him. But what do I do?
Right.
This is a safety factor, okay? I can't travel internationally anymore, okay? I can't use my passport. I was in Mar-a-Lago 2 months ago. Wrote a letter explaining all of this to him, how it's affecting me and a lot of other people. And unfortunately, he wasn't there that weekend. I haven't heard from him. He's kind of busy right now.
But, that's really interesting because Caitlyn rides with Trump on a lot of the transgender
and it sounds like
issues.
she's not necessarily parting ways with him, but she's run into what is a problem for
I don't
a
know.
lot of transgender people.
I don't understand it.
This is where the rubber meets the road. She talked in the podcast about all her other documents now reflect female gender.
female.
She changed her birth certificate. She changed all sorts of global entry, other airport documents. But when she renewed it, she says that Trump did some sort of executive order where all of your documents have to reflect your biological gender, your biological sex.
Okay.
So
All
when she
your
renewed it,
federal
it came back
documents.
male. She said, here's my birth certificate, which has been changed. Let's fix this. She says it was sent back to her male again.
Okay.
So she's
Wait,
trying
the birth
to...
certificate was?
No. She said the document. She
same,
said,
right.
here, an error was made. Here's my birth
So
certificate,
the
which
birth
says female.
certificate she can change with the state.
It has been changed.
But not the
yes.
passport,
But
because the
so
federal
federal
government only
documents-
recognizes biological birth.
That's right.
Okay, so here's my question, and this is why I'm so confused. What prevents her from traveling internationally?
Well, you need a passport to travel
And she's
internationally.
got a passport.
She does, but when they check the passport, they look to see that.
I'm fine with that. So,
And your
so
point
she
is-
says, yeah, I've changed sexes, but I have to put male on there.
Right.
So she's not hiding anything. She's just saying, yeah, my passport says
But
male.
Customs is going to look at it and say
what?
And say it
I don't
doesn't
know.
match up. And say
Right.
and say,
What
and
doesn't
say the
match up?
biological.
They're not pulling her pants down.
No, that's true.
So what
but
are they?
she's saying it's
no, I'm
impairing
actually
her
serious.
international travel.
Okay, she says, yeah, I'm listed as a male because I was a biological male, but I'm not now.
That's right. No, I think you are right, but she is
But
saying
how
that
does
it's
it
hurting.
block you?
Because when the customs agent is looking
going
at
to
the
look at
two
it and say,
documents,
this document does not match who I'm looking at.
So if a drag queen goes up to customs, are they going to say, nope, not buying it?
no, because what Harvey's saying is the document just reflects reality. Her assigned sex at birth was male, so
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that she has to present as a male at the airport.
She's not defrauding anybody because she had an operation.
That's right, but she's saying it's not working. And when she was trapped in Tel
But why
Aviv
is
during
it-
the bombing, she had
But
a
I'm trying to
passport that
understand,
worked.
why would they stop her? Why would they say, nope, not going to do it because we think you're a woman?
That's a good point. I don't know.
This is Anna from Austin, Texas. I mean, this is just super disingenuous to me. The first tell is going on Tommy Lauren to talk about this. Caitlyn's just a classic boomer Republican that doesn't care about things until they directly affect her.
Okay, stop with the boomer thing, first of all. No, I'm actually serious. Stop with the boomer thing. We stopped the Vietnam War.
Hold on.
We
Okay.
stopped the Vietnam
All
War.
right.
We marched for civil rights. We did all
Okay.
sorts of things.
You triggered a boomer, just so you know.
And just
Yeah,
yeah,
and you killed the economy. But anyways.
Okay,
if
so we did
Caitlyn
that too. We did that too. I'll buy it.
Coming up.
Now we have a visualization of just how toxic Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortenson's relationship
I would
is.
argue we had that visualization with Barstools already.
You don't want to blank. And then she says, bleep, my nose won't stop gushing blood. The blank is wrong with you.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. All right, now we have a visualization of just how toxic Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortenson's relationship
I would
is.
argue we had that visualization with Barstools already.
Well, that part isn't, that was just violence. But now, listen, after the incident in February where they were in the car and they both, he says she attacked him and she said the opposite. Police have said that there are not going to be any charges, but we had heard.
There was clearly violence.
Yes, there was clearly violence, and we had heard from Taylor's people that even after that was going on, that Dakota was trying to hook up with Taylor, despite the fact that they just had this fight.
And this is after the Barstool thing, months after the Barstool.
Years after
the Barstool thing.
Right.
So they had this whole history.
Yes. So now we have a visualization because we have the text messages that were sent between them after the February incident. And it's just, it seems kind of high schoolish, actually, is how someone described it. So this is the first text. This is Dakota sending a text to Taylor. Open the door. You don't want to blank, bleep, have sex, in one word. And then she says, bleep, my nose won't stop gushing blood. The blank is wrong with you.
So this clearly happened right after the fight. So this is codependence to the max.
But it's also, and it's dangerous.
And
like,
well, it's
so
clearly
there's
dangerous.
violence clearly that happened between them, and then that immediately is what.
I mean, they do have a kid together. So I feel like, not to obviously acknowledge
your point
that
being-
they're, should be hooking up after fighting, but there is love there. I mean, we know that they're so obsessed with each other.
They are obsessed with each other, but
But have you ever heard of makeup sex?
Yes,
Sometimes
but there's makeup sex is when you have an argument,
not
right.
a
You have an
violent
argument.
fight.
But when violence happens, no, that's not.
For sure, but violence is how they express their point of view,
Well, I
which
guess that's
isn't
the
good.
problem.
They're
but
already-
that's the problem.
They're already in trouble, but it can get, as seriously, way worse.
I think these are very
And if they're waiting for that to happen, boy, I'll tell you.
And I guess those texts show you that even though the police said there are not going to be any charges for that incident, what's going to happen between now and August? Remember, she's still on probation until August from the Barstool throwing incident.
If she gets off probation, then they reset everything.
But it's kind of like, I would think a lawyer has said to her, and probably to him, stay the blank away from each other.
I think is hard for them, and also they have a permanent restraining order.
Yeah, they have restraining orders against each other. It sounds like somebody's going to violate one of these because they want to hook up.
Exactly.
It's like this is a really problematic thing for them, and she particularly is playing with fire because
she's the one who's on probation.
And if he wants to, if he gets pissed off and he goes to court, she could go to prison.
For sure.
Hi, I'm Kiki from Los Angeles, and I really just think we need to focus on the kids in all of these stories. I think it's the number one constant that's mentioned in all of these articles is the children. And I think those text messages, sending those and having them out in the public eye when you have these kids is just really, really tough. And I think it's something we need to have compassion for.
I want to take a shot at something. Do you live around Melrose and Highland or Carthay Circle?
Kind of by Melrose, West Hollywood area.
Please make this not creepy.
The reason
Please make this not creepy.
No. The reason I said it is because of the arches. That a lot of the houses around Melrose and Highland have those Spanish arches all over the place. And I was just getting the vibe with the hardwood floor and the whole thing that you're around Melrose and Highland-ish.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
Look at you. Yeah, you've lived in LA since the dawn of time. So, yes.
Coming up.
What a first week for TMZ DC. It was amazing. And these guys hit the ground running.
The one thing I would say about our DC team is that they might lack a little seasoning. So we added a little bit because last night they got a tour from a DC native, Donnell Rawlings.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. What a first week for TMZ DC. It was amazing. And these guys hit the ground running, and everybody's talking about them. Everybody is talking about them. And, I watched CNN today, and they were just all just going on and on that it's great to have people there. We're asking things more in the zeitgeist than other reporters.
It's been fun. Now, the one thing I would say about our DC team is that they might lack a little seasoning, a little flavor. So we added
at least one of them.
So we added a little bit because last night they got a tour from a DC native, Donnell Rawlings, the comedian,
who is just
hilarious,
awesome. And the night started where Donnell, the three guys are living in the same place right now. There's a 3-bedroom apartment, and so they invited Donnell over for dinner.
Right. And Donnell decided he wanted to teach them about the cuisine that they can encounter in DC and give them some tips on socializing with,
because Jackson is single.
Jackson's a single guy, and so Donnell gave him some tips. Although I don't know that it really got through, but here's his attempt anyway to teach Jackson how to be smoother in DC bars.
Have you thought about dating a black chick from DC? Yeah. If you say I got chicken wings with mama sauce, like that, I'm just telling you, shit. That's a black chick at a bar, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you look cute.
I'd go, hello, ma'am.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's like, you look cute. And I'm hungry.
Go on. Let's get some supper.
Oh no. You gotta separate from the
Oh no.
You gotta be like this. Oh, I had a taste for some chicken wings with mumbo sauce.
That's what I said?
Yes.
Oh, I got a taste of some chicken wings and some mumbo sauce.
You don't have to do the S, man.
Oh my God. So it did not end there. So they had their meal. And then Donnell
took him out on time.
And by the way, not just a native, but he is now an alum of the TMZ tour experience. So he's actually
I don't know
guided.
How that qualifies him more for because he did the comedy crawl here in Hollywood he can do a tour in DC.
He cannot.
Apparently not. But he did take him out around the town and
misidentified some very famous objects.
That's the White House.
Creative director.
Oh, that is the White House.
All right, which one going, left or right?
I don't know. We gotta get up here right. Yeah, I think that's the White. Is that the White? It'd be like ones that be looking White House-ish.
That's not the White House.
That's not the White House.
Oh, that wasn't the White House. False alarm.
False alarm.
Oh my God.
Look
how close we can get.
Did they not know what street they were on? I mean, it's pretty obviously not the White House. What the?
Oh my God! So look, we've been talking to a lot of people, and this is going to range from just fun to serious. And we're going to touch on things that people are talking about, or maybe they're not talking about it, but should. So Charlie yesterday, Charlie got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Coming out of a congressional hearing where they were talking about a lot of really important healthcare things. So Charlie thought he would just basically try and get him to answer something that's been talked about for a long time.
A lot of people have been asking this question.
Yeah.
Hey mate, I just got one question. In all seriousness, what is your fascination with roadkill and dead animals? I know you've done a few things, notably with a whale and with a bear, with a raccoon more recently. I just want to know what the fascination is, sir. Anything? Okay.
Wow, that woman almost walked into Charlie.
Well, you notice
there.
how the tone changed? Because a shorter version, just about the raccoon, we asked him on his way in, and he laughed at that.
Yeah.
And he smiled and laughed at that.
That can happen with 7 hours of grilling.
I guess so, yeah. He wasn't in the mood to talk about that.
And by the way, the failings of people.
Way more people around him when he walked out than when he walked in.
That was crazy looking at the number of people around him. Although, I'm sure it was because of the testimony.
Right.
So speaking of the halls of Congress, we got a lot of people this week, but we got Ted Cruz, and I don't know if you remember, I think it was yesterday, Prince Harry had said Meghan Markle was the most trolled person in the world.
Right.
And we asked him about that, and
that led to...
He disagreed and thought it was Donald Trump more, but when we asked him about Meghan...
He said, I loved her on Suits, I'll say that. And that led to a conversation about what TV shows the senator is actually watching and which ones he finds to be really authentic.
What TV show or movie best reflects what actually happens in DC?
Good question. The American President's a pretty classic movie. It's
Okay,
well done.
Gotcha. Interesting. So who is the most...
West Wing was well done.
Oh, I love West Wing.
Oh, he goes into it. But I got to tell you something, and I've always kind of felt this, that you have such a false view of Washington, D.C. when you see members of Congress before a microphone where people are firing these interview questions and they're answering, that you get no personality out of them. And I'm not saying you vote for personality, but you want to know the personality of different people. Sure. And there are people who you don't like, and then you demonize them, and all of a sudden you see, I'm not saying anybody in particular, but I think just this week, there are certain people that I'm sure, half the country just hates them and they think they're terrible, and you realize they can be funny. And then it's like, focus on the views.
The issue is, if you just talk about sometimes someone that you disagree with on important matters, if you don't talk about those things, you might actually get along with them if you just talked about something not as important. But is that really a true reflection of that person?
Well, see, I think that sometimes if you hate somebody so much and you don't know them, you slam the door shut on ever having a dialogue. But if you get to know them, then you're more open to having a dialogue, even if you totally disagree with them. And that's why I kind of like...
If you find something, even if it's trivial, that you can get along about, maybe it opens the door to you actually talking about...
Honestly. And that's one of the things we're going to be doing. But it's been quite the week.
Hi, Murray Lebeter from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I think it's great that TMZ is expanding their progress to just look at also the entertainment aspect of our politicians. But the main point is we want to make sure that people are able to fund their families and make sure they're able to live their lives and care about how much things cost versus who somebody likes in terms of TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do both. I mean, your point being that it is important that you hold politicians' feet to the fire on things like funding the government so employees can get paid. But you can also talk about your favorite TV shows.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Well, this is one way to get yourself onto the bestseller list. One, write a book, as California Governor Gavin Newsom has, and his memoir has reached the New York Times bestseller list. However,
Be right back.
well, this is one way to get yourself onto the bestseller list. One, write a book, as California Governor Gavin Newsom has. It's called Young Man in a Hurry, and his memoir has reached the New York Times bestseller list. However,
congratulations.
However, turns out a lot of those books were purchased by his own political action committee.
Oops. How do they find that out?
So the New York Times reported this. Interesting, the New York Times reported that the PAC spent $1.5 million.
Oh, because they had to disclose
to buy books that they then gave away to supporters. So if you made a donation, you got a book.
Okay, well.
Listen, I know that it looks like it's kind of rigging the system, but it is the system.
And
the books were purchased.
Do you think he's the only one that's done this?
No, probably not. Here's the
Right.
thing. It ultimately accounted for like 2/3 of the books that were bought, the print version. So it was basically all of the sales. He was actually number one, the top nonfiction spot on the New York Times bestseller list. So.
Well, it works.
You know this has happened.
I mean,
before.
this happens. We hear people complain about this.
And also, when you're running for president, and let's face it, he is, we know that.
Yeah, the point.
And so, when you're running and you have a book like that, this is one of the things candidates do. They all write books. And they all do this.
They all game the system. By the way,
you need it to go to the top.
Yeah, you have to, right. I mean, embarrassing if he only sold 33,000.
No, that's right. But that's kind of
the game.
That's the game.
If you're a donor out there, though, are you upset? You're like, I wanted this to go towards something else, not you buying books for people.
Yeah, but you're making your donations going to his future campaign.
Right.
It's like you're getting a prize for making the donation.
Right.
You get a book, whether you want it or not.
I wrote a book a long, long time ago called The People's Court Guide on How to Tell It to the Judge. I thought it was going to do better than Roots. I did. I swear.
That's offensive on a lot of
but
levels.
I thought this was going to be
a lot of levels.
It was
presumably because when you wrote it was actually closer to when Roots.
It was, and it was a huge hit. And I thought it was going to be a huge book, and they were selling it at the Barnes. It was by the bathroom.
No,
I mean I know People's Court was. I know People's Court was popular, but.
I know.
Apparently, you were not the reason.
It was so humiliating.
Hi, I'm Adria. I am from Hawaii, and my takeaway from the story is that I feel celebrities are trying to be the new politicians, and politicians are trying to be like the new celebrities. You have people like Jake Paul, Trisha Paytas, the guy from the Hills. They all want to be like politicians. And then you have Gavin Newsom and Candace Owens and Donald Trump even, who are on social media beefing. So I feel in regards to like his book, I feel people want more truth and honesty rather than seeing who's trying to sell the most or promote themselves by targeting a specific audience. I just feel like people should be more truthful.
But you know,
when we're
I got to tell you something. I really think you hit the nail on the head when you said politicians want to be celebrities and celebrities want to be politicians. It's the whole intersection of the two that you almost can't distinguish them anymore. So, politicians have podcasts. You know, Spencer Pratt running for mayor. We had the guy from the guy with maple syrup.
Summerhouse, who's running for Congress.
For Congress, so you're right, it's like this.
Coming up.
Well, the Nancy Guthrie mystery was solved, or at least that is what a lot of people thought last night when the Pima County Sheriff's Department down in Tucson posted on social media that there was a missing person who was located.
How can they do that?
Be right back.
Well, the Nancy Guthrie mystery was solved, or at least that is what a lot of people thought last night when the Pima County Sheriff's Department down in Tucson posted on social media that there was a missing person who was located. Her first name is Nancy. Her last name is Radakovich, not Nancy Guthrie. But the problem is the way that they put it out on X.
Nancy has been
said
located.
Update. Nancy has been located.
How can they do that?
I know.
After all the missteps.
A handful of people last night hit me up going like, did you see this? And then they even realized going, oh, wait, no, sorry.
How can they do this after all the missteps?
You can't tell me that that wasn't done on purpose.
Oh, I believe it's total
to get it.
No.
You think it just went over someone's head that they said Nancy's been located?
That's terrible for them because they've got to know.
I know it's awful.
No, but what? They think they're going to fool somebody?
They got more engagement. Now,
do they want engagement?
I hope that's not what they care about.
Do they want engagement?
I hope they're not like your average streamer.
I mean, this is
just trying to get engagement.
It's appalling that they.
Jonah, you fell for it.
I totally fell for it because she's 82 years old and she's like an 82-year-old little white lady and like easy enough to confuse.
Totally.
With Nancy Guthrie.
They do.
Don't look all that dissimilar,
no, but
especially
on
when
first glance, you're just looking at the picture with the text over it.
No, you could with the text over it. You think Nancy Guthrie was located,
right?
And that's terrible. And they made so many mistakes in this case, opening the crime scene, letting pizza delivery men walk up through on the porch, and not calling the FBI in on time, and on and on and on.
I don't know who's running the social media.
I mean, it's got to be some intern who doesn't realize they're the Pima County Sheriff's Department running the whole investigation.
Terrible.
But any intern at the Pima County Sheriff's Department has to know that Nancy Guthrie is the thing that the entire nation.
And what if Samantha Guthrie got a phone call?
Well, right. The whole thing, it was part of a thread. They had posted an initial post about this other Nancy with the full name, and it was a reply that said Nancy's been found, but they didn't realize that it was going to show up by itself.
Clueless.
Hey, I'm Kate Holt from Rhode Island, and this is just so crazy to me. Anytime people hear the name Nancy, they're going to think Nancy Guthrie. I mean, bring our girl home. We've been praying for her, millions of us, for months. And I think it really upset a lot of people because they probably thought there was a breakthrough in the case and that she's been found. And just the poor family and poor Savannah.
Yeah, poor Savannah.
They should take that post down and put it back up with the
Is
correct
it
saying
still
the full
up?
name.
Is
Yes.
It's still up?
And they should put it back up saying the full name.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
As of this morning it was. I mean, I'll check now, but this morning it was still up.
Crazy.
Coming up.
So there was a heated auction in New York City last night for a walk-on part on heated rivalry. The likings of a former First Lady
who's
was
a
not
huge
only
fan.
there, but bid.
Be right back.
So there was a heated auction in New York City last night for a walk-on part on heated rivalry.
Yes, this was an auction run by the LGBT Center in New York City.
And
guess who was there?
The likings of a former First Lady
who's
was
a
not
huge
only
fan.
there, but bid a lot of money.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Jill Biden bid $35,000 for that walk-on part.
And she didn't even come close.
That wasn't going to cut it. The winning bid was $125,000, and they ended up giving out 2 walk-on roles.
So $125 each.
Yep, and they got $250,000.
But you know what's interesting?
Jill Biden had to go home empty-handed.
What are they walking on in?
Yeah, you might want to read the fine print before you make your bid. Just saying.
Okay, we will see you Monday. Have a good weekend.